Hey guys, welcome to 251 Designs. I'm Corey and we are modifying things today. So in the last video, we modified this 20-ton press from Harbor Freight, put a 20-ton pneumatic jack on it, put some casters on it. We put a pneumatic style switch on it for a foot pedal, and then we also have a little knob for the release of it. And it works, all that works. So that's a couple little things that I've done already. If you want to see that video, it's going to be somewhere up here. Soon you're going to see the Harbor Freight welding table that I have a lot of modifications with as well. And that was a pretty good video towards about, I think it was 5 or 6 things that was going on with modifying the Harbor Freight table. You'll see it somewhere up here or in the description. But today we are going to start the structural bracing of this machine. So my plan is, if you've ever seen Swag Off-Road or any of the other brands, they make some pretty cool stuff. Well, I have the ability to make most of the same stuff. So I don't want to spend $100 on plates that are just already cut out when I can do it myself, and I can do it for what I have here, which is already free because I've already got it. So they make plates that come across up here, down here, and the sides, and they're 12 gauge steel. They have holes in them for, I guess, lightweight. I'm going to do dimple dies. I don't know if theirs are dimple dyed, but they probably are, just for strength. So we're going to do that. We're going to cap the ends of each of these C-channel, and we are going to make all this to where it is structurally capable of actually pushing 20 tons without giving anywhere. I need to get some new bolts because these are 4.8. I want at least grade 8 or higher because I don't want these things bowing and tearing this thing up when it gets to the heavy duty stuff. As you see gaps already in here for the manufacturing of these because they're not the greatest when it comes to manufacturing in China. So they throw it together for the cheapest price for what we can get. All right, well, cheapest price, I'm gonna modify it. We're gonna cap the ends on every single end of all that. So today in this video, we are going to measure all this up and start looking at getting CAD done on it and cutting it out. So I'm gonna start measuring, and then we're gonna have to step into Fusion 360 and start designing how we want this, and the measurements of the dimple dies, everything, to make it super simple. Once it's cut, you just clean it one time real quick to get the dross of the plasma cut off, and then we start cleaning these edges up and putting the bracing in, and then we just simply put little beads of weld in it. Not sure what welder we're gonna use because we've got a choice of my Chicago Electric 170, which I will say, for the money, what it does, everything else, some premium welds. A lot of people wouldn't think that, but they get some good welds in. We got my Reboot here, which is a wire fed, and it can do flux core or MIG, or actually lift TIG. And then we got my Arc Captain 145 MIG, which does flux core and lift TIG. It also does arc, but we're not doing arc. We would either do some lift TIG or we would do some MIG. And for the size we're using with, I think it's going to be either 14 gauge or 16 gauge steel. We are not going to use arc, not at all. We'll probably use TIG and MIG, but the MIG is probably going to be on my smaller machine, the Reboot, because the Chicago Electric doesn't like thin gauge metal, so it just doesn't spit the wire out right. All right, well, let's get to measuring because I'm talking too much and ranting. So let's get over here and start measuring these things up, and we'll throw it on paper, and then we're gonna jump into CAD and start with that. Well, I got all my measurements right here, and that's boxing in almost the entire machine. So I'm gonna hop in CAD now, and yeah, we're gonna get it done. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're in Fusion 360 now, starting to design everything to the measurements I got. It takes a little while. I'm trying to get all the circles in line where I would like them and the size I want them. Here I'm doing my logo and having a lot of trouble with the nodes, trying to make sure everything lines up the way I want and where I want. And that's just a joyful time if you ever have to mess with nodes and little circles and trying to figure out how they go where you want them. Once you get done with this, you just got to make sure that the lines are far enough apart so that when it cuts it, it will cut it all out and not leave any type of gaps or uh, anything else. So here's where I try and make everything a little bit easier for myself by making a 26-inch from the 23-inch piece I already made, which it wasn't working out because I couldn't move everything the way I wanted. So I started checking the parameters of the machine for 16 gauge, which I did cut it out of 14 gauge. Uh, Going through this, I was still working with trying to figure out why it wouldn't cut. Had a couple little issues, figured it out, got through the troubleshooting measure of it, and started making my 23-inch. That's the top, uh, front and back, and then 26 is the middle bars that hold the arbor and all that. So I finally got everything sorted, moved all the circles to where I wanted them, and then created my files. So it wasn't too bad. Uh, it was just a good amount of work, probably about 30 minutes of work, which isn't that bad. Now, since we designed our supports, I guess you would call them supports. I don't know. We're gonna cut them out. I found some 14 gauge. I got just enough to do probably 4 pieces out of it, hopefully. We're gonna find out. And I'm gonna cut the top and the middle out of 14 gauge, and then the sides are gonna be out of 16. It looks like I should be able to do that. It's a 48-inch by, I don't know, something, piece of 14 gauge. And yeah, we should be able to cut all of it out of it. So let's get to it and start cutting and make this happen. All right, well, I don't know if y'all can hear the wind, but we got like a bad tornado warning around here. So I cut all my pieces out. I had to switch the X and Y axis because I'd cut them, or I'd put them in the program going this way, and I needed them going that way because the piece of metal wouldn't fit in here, and the length was wrong for my 26-inch piece. Wouldn't fit all the way on here. 23 would, 26 had to go long ways. I don't understand why, but I kept hitting the limiters. So we switched the X and Y axis, got them. Everything's cut. I got to clean them up a little bit. So other than that, they're ready to go. So the next thing we're going to do is clean those up really well, and then we get to use the press first, and then after we use the press, we're going to start breaking it down on each part. Everything besides the sides. I'll get to the sides later. Because I got to get my 16 gauge out because I don't have enough 14 gauge for the sides. So we'll do that, and once we do that, we'll be complete. So let me get to cleaning these up, and yeah, we'll get to installing them. right, well, we've got all that welded. They're not the most beautiful welds, but they'll work. They're a lot better than Harbor Freight welds, I can say that. Saw me spray painting. I use galvanized coating, which means it won't rust on the backside and I can weld through it. So it's weld through primer. These bolts, these awesome little 4.8 grade bolts, they're gonna get replaced. Not right now, I gotta go to the hardware store and get some, but I'm gonna get some grade 8 or higher bolts. So yeah, we don't mess this up. But as for the other pieces that I've got to cut out, still got to get the 16th gauge out, and or 16th 16 gauge, it's over there. I still got to get it and cut it down and then cut it up. I have the program ready to go, I just haven't done it yet. But these came out pretty good. I did make a mistake. That is my biggest dimple die that I have, and I thought I had bigger. I mismeasured and misthought. So I have a couple holes that are bigger that don't have dimple dies, which is okay with me, but it would have looked a lot better with a dimple die, because I just like them instead of just holes cut out. Speed holes. They are speed holes, that's what they are. So I need to eventually order some more dimple dies so I can fix that and not have this issue again. But yeah, so we're gonna keep going, and the only other thing I gotta do now is paint the outside frame. I don't know what color I want to paint it. I'm trying to think. I don't have a whole lot of colors here. I do have bright colors, and then I do have other colors. Do I want to paint it orange to match the Vevor other parts and a couple other things I have in the shop? So pretty close. Vevor orange is what I'll call that. It matches, yeah, everything else. It might look pretty good. A little contour of it. So that's what I'll probably paint it now. But I did paint the back of the top black, so yeah, it kind of shines through. I'll put a piece of cardboard back there and tape it all off and paint just the front orange, leave the rest gray, and yeah, back will be black, and so it'll really pop with the logo of the shop. Still using my little cart right here. Love it. So I'm gonna get back to this, and we're gonna finish it up in this episode as of just those two, and we'll have one more thing in here. I do want to make a shelf eventually down at the bottom so that my arbors and my dimple dies and whatnot can sit down there. But not sure what I want to use for that, because I do have some shelves and I can just cut them up and re-weld them and just leave it be, because it's cheap and easy, and I don't know if I'm going to use the shelves or not. Or I can go through and create my own custom dimple dyed shelf, which I don't see the need for. I just don't want stuff falling out of the bottom. So let me go paint this and we'll get back to you. All right, it doesn't look too bad. My welds aren't the greatest because I was not having fun. It was not my perfect moment of welding, but my little reboot welder, it came in clutch, did what it needed to do. It got everything. You can see it went through pretty good to most of the spots. Back here you can see your discoloration of the paint on the outside everywhere. So it went through, it's just not pretty. Now it's back together. So, like I said, got all these for structure. As I dimple dyed, as you see, it kind of deformed, but I used it to my advantage because I like it. The black contrast in the back looks good. The gray contrast down here, I think looks really good too. I had to get rid of the sticker on that side, by the way. Yeah. So now I need to do the sides. And once I do the sides, I'll have to do one on the top to kind of strengthen the top. And that'll be 100% strengthened to where this thing should not have any issues at all. So we still got our little knob, still got our little pedal that's upside down there. But a new upgrade with this upgrade is with the Harbor Freight, got a 3-inch round base magnet that's 95 pounds. And I can't get it off the arbor. So the thing I saw is people having trouble with their arbors falling off. Once you put one on here, it just slides around. So put it on there, throw it up here. You can still rotate it any way you want, and it slides back and forth, and it won't come off. So you basically have to pick it up to take it off. I like that. So it's my other upgrade. Now, like I said, next is the shelf down there and the rest of the bracing. I do want to put lights on here, but just to see a little bit better, I'm trying to configure that one out because I don't want little battery lights. I like magnet lights, but I'm gonna possibly have to get some that are 120 volt. But the other thing is, I don't want to have to sit there and deal with that either. So more than likely, they're going to be USB or USB-C or whatever else, rechargeable. And I'll put them on the sides facing down so I can actually see what I'm doing down here. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoy the mashup of all this. It actually brings a little character to it. Plus I got my logo in it. So if you like this kind of content, give me a like and subscribe. If you like automotive content, as of cars and other things like that, engine building, going to the track, coming up soon. Might even go to Colorado for one of their events. Not sure yet, but yeah, we're getting a little bit more heavy into that. We got some more shop upgrades right here, all around shop upgrades. So check out the other channel, The Shop Worldwide. It's at the end of this video. But yeah, give me a like and subscribe if any of this kind of helped you or intrigued you or whatever. If it didn't, drop a comment. If it did, drop a comment. Doesn't hurt. I talk to anybody and everybody that sits there and drops a comment. So until next time.